Welcome back to the monthly update. I'm Mark Clearview, and here's what I've been up to in the month of November. Can you believe I just said the month of November? As if the year is practically over. Since it's the end of the year, I'm starting to reflect on the fact that I've done 11 of these. I've done 11 monthly updates, and I've had something monumental to share with you each time in my life and career, and that feels pretty good. I've worked very hard this year. I've had a lot of groundbreaking things happen to me. It is not at all like 2020. And it's freaking holiday season, so you gotta feel merry and shit. No matter what you're celebrating, I'm bringing people together. I did 10 shows in November, 10 shows, and I'm just gonna stop qualifying what was virtual and what was in person because I do both now. I'm comfortable with both, and you can book me for both. There's still time. 10 shows may not sound like a lot of shows, but it was a lot of shows because it was flanked by a lot of travel back and forth to New York City, and I drove every single time because I needed my show equipment with me and I needed to drive to different gigs in different places, so it just made more sense to drive as opposed to fly and then rent a car, which means there was a lot of 8, 9, 10, 12-hour journeys. I was actually in New York City every single week. I was back and forth weekly in my car. It was great, no complaints. For example, one week there was so much travel, I did a show, we did a lineup with Nick Wallace, Keith Brown, and Gramazing at the Staircase in Hamilton, Ontario. I finished that show and then drove with 4 of my friends down to New York City immediately the next morning at 6 a.m. Then the next day I performed my suspended straitjacket escape with Kyla at House of Yes. Then I drove back to Toronto, another 10 hours, and then I did a show the next day in North Bay, Ontario, which is 3 hours north of Toronto. It snowed on my way. I did a show for Castle Home, a corporate gig, and then I drove 3 hours from there back to Oakville so I could sleep. Then the next day at 8 a.m., I woke up and drove all the way back to New York City. Yeah, I was in Toronto for less than 2 days. Then I drove to Wayne, New Jersey from New York City and did a show for Crohn's and colitis. It was a fundraiser. Then I drove back to Toronto, 9 hours to get back here, fall asleep, wake up, and perform a show at Yuck Yucks the next night with the Toronto Magic Company. And then I collapsed. No, that's not true. I did a virtual show for RBC. Then I collapsed. Well, next month I have another huge announcement. I couldn't have asked for a better way to end the year. I'm going to be performing again at the Magic Castle in Hollywood, California from December 13th to 19th. I have 20 corporate bookings in December, and then I perform 21 shows at the Magic Castle. So put those together, and that is an astounding 41 shows in December. And that's not all, because more corporate bookings are being added literally every day to my calendar. So if you want to book, there's still time to get a magician virtually or in person at your holiday party, but we're running out of dates. So you gotta be the 42nd. It looks like I will also be taking on some magic consulting work for television and film again in December as well, which is super exciting. But then after all of that, the new year comes around. First we have the holidays. Well, okay, after all that I'm performing at Sick Kids Hospital, as I do every year on Christmas Eve, and then I'm going off the grid for a little bit. The new year's gonna roll around, I'll celebrate it with Jason, best friend, like I do every year. I did this because he lives right there. Because we live together, actually. I don't know why I did that. And my book 2 Weeks Straight will be available by December 25th, Christmas. You can buy your own copy of my book, 2 Weeks Straight, How I Spent 2 Weeks in a Straitjacket, Set a World Record, and Raised $15,000 for Parkinson's Disease Research. Now is a great time to give to Parkinson's Research, to the Michael J. Fox Foundation as well, because it is the holidays. It's also a great time to give to sick kids. And if you're a performer or have gifts or want to donate, you should donate some in-kind donations as well. That's it for me. 'Tis the season. The next one of these will be in the new year. So this is the last one for 2021. Thank you everyone for watching. That's it. Time to... This is for Sam Hall, who always wants to see me actually drink the drink. Cheers, best kind of hot chocolate.